Hello, in this video I'll show you how you can replace a faulty thumbstick in a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. This will fix the Joy-Con drift that can develop over time. At the end of the video I'll also show you how to swap the shell of the Joy-Con for one that's a different style. Over time you might notice your Switch's Joy-Con starts acting strange. Maybe it doesn't seem as accurate as it used to be, or more frustratingly, your character will just start moving about by themselves. It only affects the thumbsticks though. This is what's known as Joy-Con drift. There are many theories about why this happens, ranging from either dirt gets inside the controllers or the mechanisms wear out over time. My own Switch had this problem on its left thumbstick, making the character randomly just walk forwards, even when I wasn't touching it. This seems to fit with the idea that maybe the thumbstick wore out, because pressing forwards on this is the most common action and that's what was causing it. If you search online for these problems, you'll see people recommending that you use isopropyl alcohol to clean out the controllers, which kind of seems like it might work if there was dirt in it. However, if you put IPA in this to rinse out the dirt, where's the dirt going to? This is a sealed unit, there's nowhere for it to go to. So I think it's the controller wearing out, and the only way to fix it is to replace the thumbstick with another one. If you use this video to help repair your own controller, that's great. We should always attempt to repair broken items rather than just throwing them away. However, please use common sense and only do this if you're confident in your own skills. If your Switch is still under warranty, don't attempt this. You'll invalidate your warranty. You'll need the following items. You'll obviously need a Nintendo Switch with its faulty Joy-Con. You'll need replacement thumbsticks. You can find these off eBay. They're fairly cheap. You'll need some small tweezers, places to put tiny screws and components. I've got on these blue mats. And you'll need the correct screwdrivers. It's vital you use the correct tools. Nintendo likes to use what we call tri-wing screws to keep their products closed. These screws are small and easily damaged. Attempting to force a flat blade screwdriver into the screw will damage it, possibly making it impossible to remove. You can buy the correct tools though, really cheaply from eBay. They might even come with the replacement Joy-Con controllers. Be careful though, there are larger tri-wing screws on other Nintendo consoles like the Game Boy, and it can be sometimes a bit confusing finding the correct size screwdriver, so check the listings carefully. The first step is to get inside the Joy-Con. Make sure it's switched off first. On the back, there are 4 screws. You need to remove these using a tri-wing screwdriver. When you remove them, there's going to be other screws that we'll remove later, so make sure you have a system and a place where you can put them to not get confused. Once removed, you have to very carefully pry open the controller. Use a plastic tool. If you're only replacing the thumbsticks, don't go chewing this up with a sharp bladed knife or something. It's where your hands go. But all you've got to do is find the seam, maybe start it with a fingernail, and it can be quite tricky to do, but once you've got one open, just put it in and just run it round and it'll unpop itself. You now need to be very careful. The 2 halves of the Joy-Con are connected together with these ribbon cables, and we need to disconnect them, but first we'll remove the battery. The battery is connected through this small black plug just here. To remove it, you need to lift it upwards, but try and avoid pulling on these wires, they're very thin. If you do need to pull on the wires, try and pull on them as close to the plug as you can. Also be careful, the controller is still powered up, so if you start shorting things out, you're not going to have a good time. Right, so you can now see that it's disconnected. The battery is stuck down using double-sided tape. You need to carefully pry it out, but give the battery time to come unstuck. Don't just force it. Also on this one, there is a small, I think it's the Amiibo sensor. So you'll need to make sure that we don't damage that. So I'm just going to lever under there, and you can see it pops out. So I think there's just some sticky tape on the other corner. Unfortunately, this battery is in a plastic case. It's not one of those silver ones, so it should pop off carefully. There we go. And I'm going to put the battery out the way. The plastic battery holder is screwed down using these screws here, which we'll need to remove. You'll also have to watch out for the trigger buttons. This one is held in with springs pressing against the top of this, and there's also this cable to be careful of as well. Fortunately, once we're inside these controllers, Nintendo's kind of give up trying to prevent us from doing things. So it's all just regular screws. Once you've got the screws out, you need to very carefully lift it up, because it's attached with a ribbon cable that is just down here, and we'll need to remove that next. What we need to now do is make this a bit safer to work in. Because I'm going to totally dismantle this, put it in a new case, I'm going to remove all the connectors. You could possibly get away with just leaving it like this and working on the controller. However, this ribbon cable really doesn't want to get bent so much. So I'm going to show you how to remove all these. These little clips work by trapping this flexible cable, and there's little black or white tabs that you have to lift up. They only require a tiny bit of force on a corner to get them up. Right, we've finally dug through enough of this to get to the thumbstick. So, it's got 2 screws and we've removed the cable already. So I just need my small screwdriver. We're now at a stage where we have to get this out. It does come out, it's just a bit fiddly. Try not to damage this black thing that's on here. So just poke it through the hole, it'll fit through there. There we go. Here it is, it's all in bits. Now all you need to do is put in your new controller thumbstick, replacing the old one. And as they say in repair manuals, it's the reverse of the disassembly guide. When you reassemble this, just be absolutely certain that you've got all the ribbon cables going back where they should do. They've got kind of a memory of how they were in the controller, so just allow them to go where they want to go. Don't bend them straight or fold them up. They came out this controller without any effort, they'll go in without any effort. Once back together, the controller should pair with your Switch automatically. You can then go into the controller test menu and check that all the buttons and thumbstick work properly. You shouldn't see any jitter, and then just go into your game that you're having problems with and see how it is. What I'm going to do now is replace the JoyCon shell with a new one. I'm not going to explain how to do this because it's not necessary for fixing the JoyCon drift. But if you want to see what's involved, here we go. If not, you can skip on to the end of the video. Okay, I've got to quite an important section now. This is actually the NFC reader. I was lifting this up, and just on the other side of this black section is a very, very fine loop of wire. So I'm not going to start prying on that because I don't want to damage it, otherwise the NFC will stop working. So you can see there's this very, very fine loop of wire, and you don't want to do anything to damage that. There you go. That's how you replace the thumbsticks in a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. I've no idea whether these replacements are any better or worse than the Nintendo ones, but they were cheap enough, and if I need to replace them again, I know that I can just do that if I need to. So, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.